I'm curious as to what the driving force is behind this recent push to be different. Was it an event that happened in the past? A collection of events? Why now? What's the catalyst behind all of this self-reflection and pushing yourself towards a change? Is it more than, I just want to be better? I wouldn't necessarily consider it recent, because it was about 3.5 years ago that I really started to embrace this idea of living life more intentionally and living it more fully. I'm not really sure exactly what the specific catalyst was. I'm pretty sure it was a culmination of different events and different things that I had consumed through different forms of media, like books and online content and things like that. So this would have been 5 years after I had graduated from high school. I took a year off from college, and that turned into 2, into 3, and I haven't gone to college yet, but I got a retail job a couple years after high school, and that was kind of like a first kind of beginning to kind of getting me more comfortable being around other people and stuff like that. But I know that because of some of the experiences that I had through online gaming, which this seems like a huge tangent, but there were people that I met and different experiences through online gaming that I was a part of, and people I got to meet that really started opening me up about this whole idea of like living your life the way you want to live it, rather than just kind of following the path that everyone else takes. And one of those friends, suggested that I read a specific book, and that was sort of like the beginning of my adventure into personal development and stuff like that. And that was like I would say maybe a big catalyst for this recent push to be different. But that sort of springboarded me into exploring different topics on like personal development and mindset and psychology and stuff like that. So 2015, I remember it was, well, probably the tail end of 2014 that I was really starting to get more specific about the kind of life I wanted to live, the sort of things I wanted to achieve, the person I wanted to become, and things like that. And one sec. I created this project called Venture 15, and the whole like premise behind it is just the adventure that begins in 2015. It wasn't like a super fancy name or anything, but when I was trying to figure out like what to title my new project, Venture 15 just seemed to click really well, so I've stuck with that ever since I decided to work with it. Venture 15 is a 5-year project, but the overall arc of this quest is still ultimately the same, and that is essentially to be a completely different person in 5 years. So at the beginning of 2015, day 1 of 2015, so January 1st, is sort of like the beginning of Venture 15. So by January 1st of 2020, I like intend to be a different person rather than just being the same person because I feel like between 2010 and 2015 I didn't really change a whole lot. I don't really have a whole lot of like solid memories, and there were a few like the things that kind of come to mind are like Destination Imagination when we went to global finals and stuff like that, but for the most part those 5 years were very, very blurry and not very much novelty and excitement to those years. Not to say that I didn't have exciting times or anything like that. I'm getting on a tangent now. So Venture 15 was my quest to start taking my life more seriously and to start doing things more intentionally and start exploring who I am and who I wanted to be and stuff like that. So that, back to the question here. So that was kind of like the driving force behind trying to be different, because being different to me in the context of the question, being different means pursuing the life that I want to live with a complete disregard to how other people are living their lives. And that's not to be meant in a disrespectful way. It's just me identifying what I want to do and having the audacity to go out and pick what I want to do and pursue it regardless of the chosen path that other people have taken. Not to say that I might not jump on similar paths or completely go in a different direction altogether. So, let's see. It was not like a specific event or anything like that made me want to be different, I don't think. It was definitely more of a collection of events, a collection of experiences, a collection of things that I was consuming, like just different books and different motivational content online, blogs. I know blogs were a very, very big part of kind of like my pursuit into a new life. One of the most foundational blogs, I think, for me at the beginning of Venture 15 was Location Rebel. And I'm sure there were plenty of other like resources and content that I had consumed prior to that that might have led me to that. But Location Rebel was the first time I had ever like invested in myself financially and professionally or anything like that. So that's where I learned to start doing online work, and that was kind of like a springboard into pursuing other things, because it opened my eyes to different ways to make money and just pushing myself so far out of my comfort zone that it completely changed, I think, me as a person. So I do think that my life is very different now than what it was at the beginning of Venture 15. Like I've come very close to feeling like I've become a very different person as a result of pursuing Venture 15. Let's see, why now? I'm curious as to what the driving force is behind this recent push to be different. So if this is in relation to me pursuing non-traditional fashion and pursuing things that maybe aren't a little normative or normal, I think it's just me learning I think it's me becoming more self-aware of the things that I'm interested in, the things that I don't really care for, what things motivate me, what things uplift me, what sort of experiences like intrigue me. And I know for a long time I had pushed those things away because they weren't normal, and because I thought I would be ostracized for even being remotely interested in them. So for a long time I didn't really talk about them, I didn't really explore them or anything like that. But I think after enough time of it just like resurfacing, I started to explore those things a little bit more. And at the end of the day, it wasn't necessarily about that specific thing, like wearing different fashion or different things of clothing or anything like that. I think what it comes down to at the end of the day is me wanting to be authentic and be unique in me wanting to be unique in terms of being an independent human rather than someone who simply does things because other people like it or will accept me because I'm doing that. I'm learning that I don't want to just kind of follow the beaten path because that's what I'm supposed to do, rather than what I actually am or who I actually am. What's the catalyst behind all of this self-reflection and pushing yourself towards a change? Is it more than I just want to be better? I think it is a little bit wanting to be better, and that I want to keep improving myself day after day as much as I can. I go through ups and downs where it's like sometimes I'll just kind of flatline and have a very mediocre week or month or anything like that, but for the most part, I do want to always be improving myself as much as I can, even if it's only like a fraction of a percent. As long as I'm better now than what I was in the past, that is sort of my ultimate goal with change in general and the pursuit of a better life. What's the catalyst behind all of this self-reflection and pushing yourself towards a change? I don't think I necessarily have a specific catalyst that comes to mind. I think it's just going through life and kind of feeling like I was never really allowed to be myself. And it was always a very indirect thing. It wasn't something that like people specifically said or did that made me feel that way. I think it was just my environment, like through school and religion and stuff like that. I think that kind of made me not really feel comfortable around myself. I don't even think that's accurate. Like, I can't pinpoint exactly what the catalyst was specifically for wanting to make change. I think it's just me. I kind of feel like late in the whole adulting process, that, you know, I see all my friends and stuff like going off and getting careers and getting their own homes and all that stuff, and me just kind of feeling really behind, like still living with my parents and not really having like a solid career or anything like that. I'm just kind of like bumbling through and trying to figure things out as I go. Self-reflection is a very, very big part of my life, and I think that I have a much more open mind and much more open heart, and much more willing to explore like different aspects of wisdom and intuition than I think maybe the average person, and not to like imply negatively about other people or anything like that, but I think I'm much more grounded in personal development and wanting to be a better person from my own experience, and I think that's just been a very big aspect of my life, especially in recent years. So I don't know if that necessarily answers your question at all. And if it doesn't, or if you have a specific thing that relates to, give me a follow-up question.